So my name is Shannon Wesley, and I'm a first-year nutrition major here at Cal Poly, and this is my leadership philosophy and evolution as it has kind of evolved through my time at the Emerging Leaders series. So the four main aspects of my philosophy of leadership will be my preconceived notions that I had before taking the workshop, my current view of leadership as it has kind of changed throughout my progress in the workshop, and then my future leadership applications, and then my overall leadership philosophy. So, the things that I thought about leadership before being involved in the Emerging Leadership series. I thought that leadership is learned from positions of authority, so I kind of assumed that in order to gain the skills and qualifications of being a leader, one had to be given a specific title or way that they could oversee other people in a very distinct leadership role. I also thought that only certain people really had the characteristics to be a good leader. I thought that leadership was very confined in being outgoing and sort of open-minded, and I thought that most times when someone was a leader, quote-unquote, that they had a specific parameters or a set of leadership qualities that really let them be that leader versus someone else that didn't pertain those particular qualities. I also thought that leadership was most efficient when there was one leader in a group. I thought that there had to be almost like a pyramid scheme and a hierarchy of one leader leading maybe a few managers and then a bunch of people, or just one leader leading their followers in a sort of more rigid system of leadership and power versus more fluid. And then I also thought that a leader had to distinguish one from their stakeholders in order to be an efficient leader. I kind of thought that if a leader was, not as distinguished, they might not earn the respect, or they might not receive the results they would if they sort of established that I'm up here, you guys are all following me, and you're all below me. After taking the Emerging Leaders series and completing it, I definitely changed some philosophies that I had previously thought about leadership. First, I learned that leadership values and styles are developed over an entire lifetime from various roles taken in life, not just specifically outlined leadership positions. I learned this when our group listed good and bad leadership examples, whether we were in those leadership positions or others above us were leading us. It really helped me see that people form their ideologies about leadership and form how they want to be their own leader by observing others in leadership roles as well as taking those roles on themselves. I also learned that leadership characteristics take many different forms and that our different strengths, whether they be from strengths pressed or just identified by ourselves, all make us unique leaders and actually allow us to tailor our leadership style to ourselves and to potentially connect with other people that might be more receptive to one style of leadership over another. So actually differences in leadership styles and leadership philosophies make us stronger leaders overall rather than having one specific set of leadership. I also learned that various group dynamics may benefit if there are many leaders playing on those individual strengths rather than just one leader kind of trying to micromanage everyone. I learned this through challenges like the Marshmallow Challenge and the Lego Building Challenge. We had to build a Lego house and everyone had specific parameters and things that they had to make sure they were focusing on. I actually think that leadership in many different forms within a group can even help be more efficient and beneficial just because one leader trying to, like I said earlier, trying to micromanage everyone might not actually be the best way to go about getting things done, where if everyone can just draw on what they know they're best at, it might be able to optimize everyone's skills and actually create a better product. Finally, from the Emerging Leaders series, I learned that sometimes the best way a leader can lead effectively is by sort of guiding their stakeholders. I really like the idea of sort of more like a tour guide when you think of someone guiding people around campus or through a museum or something. They're walking with them, they're experiencing what they're going through and like the challenges they're facing along with the people that they're leading, rather than kind of like being removed from that experience and sitting in an office or in a control room and kind of telling people what to do. Like when a leader is with their stakeholders, with them, trying to help them through whatever they're facing, it makes them more relatable to their stakeholders, and also it helps them gain more out of the experience rather than just kind of being up aloof and not really fully immersing themselves in the experience. So, things after learning about all my leadership, new ideologies and new experiences, the things that I will now be able to do with my leadership, I can use them in group projects or classes, and kind of just knowing my strengths and being able to talk about strengths of others and just applying the fact that leadership can help, I was saying, optimize the situation, optimize the outcome in order to create the best environment for everyone. I also believe that my leadership will help me in job interviews when I can discuss my knowledge and my strengths and my leadership styles. I think that's something that's very important that a lot of employers, especially now, are looking for. You know, it's not specific skill set, it's like how can you adapt your skill set to what we're looking for from you. So I think that would be really beneficial. I also think that I can have various officer positions and clubs on campus. I feel more confident in my leadership now, so I think that me being able to talk about my strengths and talk about my ideologies also will help in those kind of settings when I'm more comfortable interacting and sort of like leading other people as well. And then I think just self-awareness of my strengths and skills just help me create better relationships with everyone around me. I think that being in touch with oneself is really important because it's way easier to interact with people and be able to sense their strengths and how they perceive things. And when you're aware of yourself, it makes you self-aware and more aware of the world around you. And so that only can benefit you in your relationships and your interactions and your future endeavors. So things that I personally plan on doing in my leadership this year is just by taking a leap of faith and getting more responsibility with the clubs on campus, kind of like I previously described. Even though I'm a first year, I still think that involvement with the school and the environment and community is also really important. So I think that I can use my leadership to really expand my horizons in that way. Kind of going off of that, just trying new things to put me out of my comfort zone, involved with change. I'm kind of a person, like, personally I know that I'm a person that shies away from change and I like very rigid schedules and going one day after another, kind of like getting in a groove of things. So kind of throwing in new changes and different ways for me to live my life will probably help me just develop even more skills of leadership and interpersonal skills with other people, because I'll be forced to find new ways to try things and make them work. I really hope to be a WOW leader next year. I know that my WOW leaders really helped me with their leadership and them getting me acclimated to Cal Poly, and so I think one great application of my leadership that I learned through this course would be able to be a WOW leader and help new incoming freshmen or transfers just really feel like Cal Poly is a home. And then I also like to volunteer and join more intramural teams, just where I have the opportunity to adapt my leadership skills and challenge myself by trying to work with other people. Finally, I'd like to discuss my overall philosophy of leadership as it has evolved and as I've really fine-tuned it through the Emerging Leader series. For me, a good leader understands and follows the wants and needs of their stakeholders, gives respect and honesty to stakeholders, strives for an inclusive environment, is aware of the potential impact they can have on the society, knows that potential for leadership is present in everyone and attempts to cultivate it. So a lot of these have to do with my personal strengths, as I am a developer and I am very high in my empathy. So I feel like a lot of my ideology for a good leader follows those, in that I'm very positive for like the interaction and the understanding of leader and constituent, and just having a great relationship between those two realms of leadership. I think that a leader is really great when they know that they are an example for other people of how they could potentially want to be leaders. So I think it's really important that leadership is really about just knowing what the role you can take on and showing other people that you are a great leader in your own ways, and showing that they can be great leaders in their own ways too. Just encouraging that everyone has the potential for leadership, and that leaders are really important in the fact that they can just help and make everyone feel like leadership isn't so unattainable and that everyone has the potential to be one. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching.